Welcome to the Made in Monroe podcast. Dr. Alberta Green, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, as I was preparing for today, I was reading up on just your career and some of the things that you've accomplished, and I really thought I'd sit down and try to list all of your accomplishments, and then I thought, you know what, there's a long list of them, and I have the expert here, so I'm just going to let her do that and talk about it herself. So tell me a little bit about your career path and your story. How did you get to where you are today? Where did it start? And how did that lead to the development of ABG Professional Development Solutions?
Wow, what a beautiful question. So I would say it may have started maybe when I was 8 years old. As a child, apparently I was an entrepreneur, and I did not know that I was, but started off creating clothing for paper baby dolls, and I would sell them in the classroom, and that moved on to selling penny candies, and that's way back in the day what we used to call them. And I was always doing something creative and also making a profit from it, and I had joy when I would see people experience what I created. So I would say maybe at the age of 8 that it started. But my career progression, I graduated from Ouachita Parish High School, and I went on to attend the University of Louisiana at Monroe. And my first major was biology pre-med. Yes, it was, I was told as a child I was going to be their first doctor. And you know, when your parents tell you that, that's what you believe. Yes. But I think we had to like dissect a pig or something, and I vomited.
You said I'm out.
And I decided
I'm out.
And I was like, I am so out. And so I changed over to something in the medical field, dental hygiene. Didn't want to smell people's breaths. I mean, I love teeth. Like, your teeth are flawlessly beautiful. And I decided, I'm out. I don't want to do that.
You gave it a valiant effort.
I did. And I remember meeting with one of my major professors in biology, and I just had like this meltdown. And I told him, I was like, Dr. Pritchett, I don't know what I'm going to do. My parents want me to be this doctor, and I just don't know what to do. And he said, Alberta, with the personality and spirit that you have, it does not matter what you choose. You are going to be successful. And I remember taking that home and telling my parents, I'm changing my major because whatever I do, I'm going to be successful. You know, so that was the story with that. So I did change my major quite a few times, and I graduated in general studies with arts and humanities. That went well. And then I got my first job. I call it my big girl job. Working for child support enforcement. And it was not a happy job. I found myself worried about all of the clients and like praying for them, like, Lord, help these people. Right. And I decided I didn't want to do that either. Right. And then I went on and changed my major. I mean, not my major, my career. And I took a job at the university as an administrative assistant at ULM in the Career Center. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I guess you could say, transitioned from administrative assistant to a career coach to the director of the Career Center before I left. And that's when I really, really found my passion while I was in ULM, because I was working with students in their career choices. And after that, you know, after praying about it, I decided I want to help people with their careers and with their lives and all that good stuff. So then I went back to school and I got my master's. So I'm a licensed mental health therapist and a licensed career counselor. And I utilized that, I guess, in my next few career paths, because after ULM, I went on to be a lead organizational effectiveness consultant for CenturyLink. And I really enjoyed that job as well. So I was in the field of leadership development, management development, HR, and so forth. And then I went on to be a director, and I think I moved to a vice president at North Louisiana Economic Partnership. So did a lot of economic development and helped to bring companies to North Louisiana, and I enjoyed that. But taking it all the way back to when I was an 8-year-old, I knew I wanted to be in business. I knew this, and at the age of 20, I said, when I hit 40, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm stopping everything. And I'm going to have my own business. So when I hit 40, it was time to make the decision. But I had the best job in my entire life working at North Louisiana Economic Partnership. And I had a coming to Jesus meeting. I was like, wait a minute, Lord, I can retire from here. Do I really need to become an entrepreneur? Do I really want to do this? But it was my time. And throughout my 20-year work experience history, I was collecting tools from every job. I was learning and growing and all of that. So the business was opened under the ABG counseling at first in 2013. But we've navigated and changed to ABG Professional Development Solutions a couple of years ago. But I'm living the dream. I'm grateful that I took that opportunity to take the leap, and I guess I haven't looked back.
Right. Where there's risk, there's reward. Right?
Yes, I love that.
And so
yes,
you took a risk, but there's reward on the other side of that.
Yes.
So, that is quite the journey. I love hearing your story just from start to finish. I love hearing the part where you knew as an 8-year-old girl that this is really what you wanted to do, and even though you had other outside influences and voices, you really came back to who you were from the beginning and what you were called to do, I would probably say. So did you ever think you would be where you are today, doing what you're doing?
I would say yes, but not at this level, because back to what you said about being 8 years old, what I teach people, because I don't know if I mentioned it, but our company, ABG Professional Development Solutions, we provide training and development for small, medium, and large organizations. So we have leadership development, management development, employee development, and also there's a leg that is mental health and well-being that we provide for clients as well. But what I teach my clients is what you just said. You were like, oh, you went all the way back to when you were 8. Technically, I believe at around 4, you get to experience who you're going to be in the future. You don't know it because you're a child, but I believe that everyone is gifted with this innate thing that they're going to do to impact and change the world or the world around them, their family, their friends, is some great impact. So at 4, you think you're just playing teacher.
Right.
Or at 4, you think you're just providing direction, or you think that you're just making cakes or having conversation. But you come in contact with who you are between the ages of 4 and 6. And after you come in contact, you may forget it as time progresses. But what happens throughout your entire journey in life, from 4 to 8 to 16, you are picking up pieces of who is inside of you. And it will be birthed. One way or the other is going to rise. And so, for instance, since my parents will tell you this, I was always a natural facilitator and a creator. In my life today, a lot of strategic planning. I work with organizations to help set the vision, set the mission, set the culture and everything for their organization. But my mom will tell you I did that with my cousins, that I was the person who provided a firm foundation for everyone, and I would help everybody. I would mediate, strategically plan everything. But as a kid, you don't see that. And in college, I did not see that. I just knew I could not figure out what I wanted to do. In my mind, I was like, well, maybe I'm just too good at everything. No, I wasn't listening to what was there. But look how old I was when it came out. I was in my 30s when I went back to school to get my master's, once I had my epiphany of I want to help people in their career and strategically and all of that. And then at 46 last year, I just, got my PhD. So we're always transitioning, morphing, and growing into who we're called to be, I believe, until we leave this world.
Well, and all that was just preparation for now, right? All of that was just preparing you, and you were gathering tools that you would have to then use now when you stepped into what you were ultimately going to do.
Exactly.
I really believe that. It's interesting that you say that, because I've got 4 little girls that are 7 and under, and so to watch their little giftings that I believe the Lord has placed inside of them, and to draw those out. I mean, one of the things that we tell them all the time, or that we ask the Lord for, is just to help us guide them in their giftings. Help us to recognize those giftings, and then our job as their parents is to guide them in those. And so I believe that's what people kind of did around you, is to help you, just guide you to where you are and prepare for what you're doing now.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And you used one of my favorite words, a guide. because that's who we are. First and foremost to our children. We're their parents, but as they mature and they age, we step into that realm of, hey, you're uniquely made. Yes, you belong to the Lord, but He placed me as your earthly guide to help lead and guide you in the right direction. Not rule over you, not tell you what to do, but I'm serving in the capacity of a guide. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I do too. I use that word a lot. But you have the opportunity to work with a lot of people in a lot of different situations, whether it be through consulting or counseling or guiding, whatever it may be. What does the future look like from your seat?
I think from my seat, I would say that the future is bright. The reason I believe that the future is bright is because people are coming back around to themselves as it relates to well-being. A prime example with what I do, for instance, I have a conference that's coming up October 9th and 10th, and it's called the ABG Business Leadership and Wellbeing Conference. That conference was birthed from my dissertation because I basically believe holistic leadership development proves for the success of a frontline manager or an employee and so forth. So much of the world has been consumed with the business side, work more with less, drink from a fire hose, get all of this done, consider it done, and the well-being portion has been left to the side. Right. And so throughout my whole business, I've always believed in a holistic approach to the human. And my PhD is in human capital development. But I believe that it takes business acumen and management, of course, but also the management of a person's well-being. And also someone needs that guide to serve as a coach and a mentor to help lead a person to who they are meant and destined to be. So coming back to your question, I think our future is bright because I think people are caring more about the person, not just what you can do for the company or the job, but how can I be that support system to make sure your well-being is doing okay? Because if the whole person is treated, you don't have to worry about people leaving your company, quitting the job, not showing up the way that they need to show up. So if you handle taking care of their business training, but also their well-being and provide a mentor and coach, I think turnover will kind of stop for the most part.
Well, I think just kind of going back to what you said, you can't lead from a place that's empty. Whether you're the person leading the company or you're somebody working in the company helping that other person lead, you cannot lead from an empty spot.
Right.
And so I think taking the whole person and their whole well-being into consideration is just smart at the end of the day, because if somebody's healthy, they're going to be able to produce more for you. I think we've got it backwards. I think a lot of times we think work hard, kill ourselves. And I like to say work smarter, not harder. Right? Work smarter. Figure out, look at your time and your time management and figure out how to, every night I'll go down, I make a list on my phone and I'll have the times of the day where I have things. And then I know where I have margin in my day to pivot and to be flexible or to turn if I need to, or just to point blank say, no, I don't have the time to do that today. But you've got to, that's probably, I've learned that from some unhealthy habits that helped me get to some healthy habits. And so I love that you do that for people. I love that you help and you're concerned with the whole being of somebody, because a person's health is really important. And I think it's important to their productivity in the workplace as well.
Right, and relationships and team building, because back to what you said about the productivity in the workplace, I have a program, it's the ABG management program. I work with leaders or directors or VPs and a cohort of 10 to 15, and I'm with them for about 2.5 months. But what I do, because I'm licensed in mental health and career, I can speak to that. So I'm not just a coach, just calling myself a coach. But in our program, we work with your well-being first. I establish where you are, personally with your family and what's going on with you, and I get that to a good place. Once that's at a good place, then we move into how to be an effective manager and the tools and the things that you need to do so that your employees listen to you, they feel like you are a great leader, that you have emotional intelligence, and then we move into the coaching and mentoring. Again, it's the whole person, because we do a lot of training and development, but also a lot of well-being to help you be able to rise to the call of your job and also be effective at home. And that's what basically this conference is about. It treats the business person, it treats that person's well-being and their physical health. So all encompassing to make sure that you can be as efficient as you need to at work and home.
To navigate all those different facets of your life. I think that navigation is important.
Absolutely.
For sure. So you've built a really successful career. You've had an interesting journey to get to where you are today. You really could probably be anywhere in the country doing what you're doing. Why Monroe? Why did you choose to plant roots here?
Well, if you would say outside of having family here, because I'm born and raised in Monroe, Louisiana, my parents, they're both 77, getting ready to turn 78. They're here. And I love nature, the greenery, and all of that. But if I had to choose something outside of those three things that I listed, I would say it's the people. I genuinely believe that we have beautiful relationships here. People genuinely trust each other. They love each other. They want to see you rise to the occasion of your career. I would not even be where I am today if it were not for several people and mentors and sponsors who have poured into me, who have taken a chance on me, and we just have such an amazing community, and they rally around you when you're getting ready to do something. It's for me, I haven't had a lot of naysayers or why are you doing that? There have been people who have given opportunities and freely given those opportunities, because I genuinely believe that our community believes in you and they want to see you successful in this community. So our people here, they're priceless. They are priceless. And honestly, if I had an opportunity or a choice to live anywhere, Monroe would be first. Second would be London. I love London. I mean, they
London.
Yes, but my family is not in London. I just fell in love with London when I went there. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's hard not to.
Yes,
with just the culture and the history and everything that's there.
I know.
It's alluring. It draws
is.
you in.
And I love history.
Yes.
That's why, I am a history person. But Monroe is for sure my home. It really is. And we have a young child. He is 18. He just turned 18 in July. And he just got back. He spent 48 days in New York because he was accepted into Cornell.
That's amazing.
And so he'll start in August. However, when he made it home, I was like, so tell me about it. What did you think? And he said, I like it, but it's not Monroe. And I was like, what does that mean, baby?
I love that.
And he was like, well, we're just so happy here. Everybody's friendly. Everybody's speaking. And I was like,
It is.
Yeah. So he had a chance to experience, being from the South and Monroe and the friendliness and how warm it is. And not saying that it's not like that, but he had a chance to see the difference. He mentioned a lot of great things up there, but when he said that is not Monroe, of course, me being a lover of Monroe, I was like, okay.
But that's kind of his chance to give back, right? Even to a new place, he can bring that up there, and he can bring the warmth and the Southern hospitality with him there. I can remember living in Orlando, and I was walking in the mall one day, and I held the door open for somebody, and they looked at me like I had lost my mind, and I thought, and I even said, "Hey, how are you? Are you having a good day?" And they literally just walked straight past me, and I thought, well, that's not home.
Oh wow!
Just because we're here, everyone holds the door open for each other. You, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and you're kind and you're friendly and you see people. And so I think that's important. I think that even if we leave here, we take Monroe with us, right? We take a piece of it with us wherever we go.
And that's so beautiful how you said that. It almost sounds like you were in our house last night, because we just picked him up yesterday. His plane came in, but that's what he said. I was like, well, how did you handle, such a different environment? He said, well, basically, I brought Monroe to them. Yeah. He said, I was teaching them how to do this, how to do the line dancing. Right. They never heard of it. And that's what he said.
Take Monroe with you.
He took Monroe there. So that was...
I love that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's like we were sitting together.
I know. It's like you were right there in my house yesterday. Yeah.
So just I'm going to segue. That's kind of where I was headed. So for young people who are graduating and it looks really glamorous to leave and to go to the big city and to go and to chase that adventure. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that.
Right.
But why would you encourage someone to stay in Monroe?
Oh, I'll tell you why that's a tough question. Okay. It's tough because I do believe that a person should spread their wings, because you never know what you're missing until you experience a different experience. However, what my dad shared with me, and you would love this, I remember when I was deciding where I would go to college and all of those things, he said, my thing was, I want to travel. My family, they always call me the nomad or whatever, because I love to travel. I want to go to just about every country. Yeah. I want to experience it all. Right. I like to even travel by myself. I know I'm strange, but it is what it is. But my dad, one time I was like, before I went to college, I said, I think I want to move away. I'm considering maybe Texas or maybe here or there. And he was like, you can always visit, but home is home. Right. And I was like, but explain that. What do you mean? And he was like, well, do you like it here? And I was like, yeah, I love it here. And then he said, you can go all over the world, but home is home. And he told me, he said, you won't get that right now, but as you mature, you will get that. So even when I tried to convince my youngest kid to stay home, I had to speak to my heart and say, let him do this, but home is home. Right. And that's what he shared with us. He was like, let me do this because I want to bring back whatever I learned. I want to bring it home. And so I was like, okay, we're going to let you do this.
So I was kind of the same way. And the dads, I guess they just have a way with words, but I'll never forget my dad looking at me. And I said, I really, it's hard to leave. It's hard to leave my family, my friends. And he said, yes, but the entire world is your blank canvas. Go throw all the paint on it that you can. And he said the worst thing that happens is you get there and you decide you want to come home. Home will always be here. And so for me, I never wanted to look back and wish I would have, could have, should have. Right. I wanted to be able to look back and say, I did, I went, even though it was hard, even though it was challenging, I went, I did it. And as I did those things, I really found myself. I feel like there's things that whenever you leave, you realize a lot of things about yourself that then you can bring back. So whether you stay or you go, I joke, I sat down with somebody and they said all roads lead to Monroe. And I'm like, that's right, all roads lead back to Monroe. Because I feel like even if you leave, you're coming back. So you can leave for a little bit. It's cute that you think you're going to be gone, but you're probably coming back.
That is so true.
Anyways, I do. I feel the same way. And if somebody has that desire, they need to go and they need to do that. But I do think Monroe is still a great place, and we have a lot of opportunity for people to look at least consider before looking outside of our walls, consider Monroe, because I do think there's a lot of jobs here and a lot of opportunities that people don't even realize that are here. I can't tell you the amount of times that I'll hear them say, well, what's that ski lodge? And I'm like, well, we have nothing to do with, skiing, but they think our building looks like that. And so then I'm able to open up and tell them, well, we do hospitality. We build hotels, we develop hotels, we design hotels, we purchase for hotels. And I bring Marriott and Hyatt and Hilton right here into Monroe. They're
Monroe, Louisiana.
Every single year.
Wow.
Hyatt Corporate asked us this last year to build a hotel for them, design a new brand of hotel for them. And so that happens here in Monroe, but we don't know it. So I think we're kind of charged with the responsibility of getting that word out and letting people know what's here, right?
I
As
agree.
people who have businesses planted here and careers planted here, I think it's our duty to tell other people about that.
Right. And I agree with that 100%. Like, I have clients who are in New York and who are in Texas, and some who have come here to visit me. And it's so interesting after they visit. They'll say, Monroe, that's where Alberta's from. I've enjoyed myself. And it's, I don't want to call it cute because it's not that it's cute, but what we provide here, they may not get in their locations. And when they leave, they're always talking about the food, you know, that they had eaten, the people that they met, how kind, everybody was always smiling. And I was like, yeah, that's where I'm from, Monroe. And we have so much opportunity, so many, like you said, jobs, but some people don't know. And I hate to call us a hidden secret because I think we can do better at making us a visible, that we're not a secret, that we're here. And when you mention about young people, what can we do to encourage them to stay here? I think we should start early, start young. Not when they get ready to graduate high school, but I think we need to start very early, letting them know what we have. We have a wonderful medical system here. We have wonderful businesses that are right here. You know, we have Drax, we have Intermountain, I mean, Holyfield Construction, the list goes on and on and on. And one of my favorite stories was from James Moore, because again, I love history and I love knowing your story. And just to hear his story, it was mind-blowing and beautiful all at the same time. So we have a lot of homegrown, phenomenal, amazing businesses that are doing business all over the world. Right here in Monroe, Louisiana.
Right here on that little dot on a map.
Exactly. Yes.
So what are the benefits that you've found to keeping your career here in Monroe and planting yourself here?
Yes. So I would say that ABG Professional Development Solutions, we are a global company. However, I would say being born here, if we ever grow huge, you know, I would still keep my headquarters here. It's because this is the place that gave me an opportunity. This is the place that gave me a chance, who supported my dreams, who poured into me, who poured into the business, and who believed that it could become something great. So I think doing business here, like I said, I hate to make it all about kindness and things like that, but I do think people are more willing to give you an opportunity here versus if I started out somewhere else.
Right. Well, and the connections. I think the relationships that you have, I think relationships are everything. And so here, you're not just a number. You're not just a face. Like, you actually have a name and you mean something to people. And so I think that really kind of changes the game.
Yes, and I know we're talking about business, but you put a flash right across when I thought about being at ULM. A prime example, I'm so grateful that I received my first degree from ULM. The teachers, the faculty, the staff, the most amazing relationships were created when I was there. And I think back to my wedding, because I married the love of my life. Aww. I know. We met at Taco Bandito. I don't know if you've ever been to Taco Bandito.
We ate there this week.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's where we met. So we always go back every blue moon, and I tell the people, hey, we met at Taco Bandito. And my husband's like this. Like, why is she doing that? These kids do not care.
That's awesome.
But I care. But anyways, we met in college, and because of the relationships, because I was not a number, like you said, my faculty and the staff, everybody, they knew me by name. When I was married, half the people at my wedding, they worked at ULM. They were teachers, faculty members, friends, band directors.
Incredible.
Relationships, and we're not a number in this area.
I think it's also important to not just be a spectator in your community. I think it's important to get involved and to give back to a community that's given so much to you. And so what are ways that you would encourage people to get involved?
I would say find something that you're passionate about, that you know that your experience can lend a way to help them to enhance what they're currently doing. But back to what you said, be mindful of your time. I think sometimes when you're just doing a whole lot of everything, you're not able to make an impact.
Right.
But if you find organizations that you can genuinely make an impact, that would be my first thing to tell you. Don't be afraid to serve. If someone asks you to serve on a board, be willing to meet the challenge and go in it like seriously trying to make a difference and trying to help. For instance, if you have a passion with children, you know, adopt a school or find someone, you know, some way that you can help impact that school. And a prime example, I didn't share this, but I'm 8 of 9 children.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so my parents have over 72 grandchildren between all of us.
Did you say over 72?
Over 72.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah, I'll have to send you a picture of the family reunion. But because there were so many of us, I didn't even know I was poor until I made it to high school. Meaning I was like, oh, I'm poor. Wow. But anyways, because it was so many of us, we could never afford yearbooks. And so I know as my business was growing, that was a big thing that I would do. Like the schools that I attended, especially Jack Hayes Elementary, we would buy like 40 to 60 yearbooks and we would write a note, a personalized note. So for families who could not afford yearbooks, we would pay for about 40 to 60 so that they can receive a free yearbook because that impacted me as a kid. I was like, I'm sad I don't have a yearbook.
Aww.
So things like that. In our company also, we adopt a classroom and like pay for Christmas party, Valentine's parties, or any supplies that teachers, that a teacher may need. So I find a teacher every year to make sure that I pay for everything that she needs and provide parties and things for her students, you know, at schools that may be, I think it's called a Title I or something like that.
That's amazing. Just small little ways of giving back.
Small
that
little
make a
ways
big
of giving
difference.
back. Yes.
They do. Well, Dr. Green, thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I've loved hearing your story and learning more about you, and I'm so grateful for the impact that you're making in our community. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I've loved learning about you. Like, seriously, I really enjoyed this because we've never had a chance to talk.
I love it.
Me
So
too.
fun.